Ryan, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's good to see you.
It's nice seeing you. I'm happy to be here.
It's been quite some time since we've seen each other face to face like this.
It's been a while.
But I mean, Snapchats and stuff like that. We've seen each other, but to sit down and enjoy a couple of beverages and shoot the shit here, it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Been probably like 7-8 years, I think.
Yeah. When did you? Because you and I worked at the deer dealership, and then I don't exactly remember what happened.
I got transferred down, and then another guy got transferred up because I was living in Hampshire. Or can I say Hampshire on here?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want on here. I don't care.
I didn't know if there's like privacy things.
Hell no.
So I was living in Hampshire and driving up to Harvard every day, and a guy was driving from Harvard to Hampshire every day at that.
So you guys just
we just flip flopped.
Gotcha.
And then that's when some stuff was going on, and wasn't really. I should have stayed where I was, but some drama and stuff at the other place was going on, and I was like, yeah,
you're out.
Yeah, it's time to.
So then you actually, long story short, you actually moved up to Galena then.
Yeah, I did, and I loved it every second of it.
And what did you do out there?
I was a firefighter, a volunteer firefighter out there for just a little under 2 years. Because I actually moved from Galena just into Wisconsin, and that was out of the fire district, so I had to leave the fire department. And then I was working on semis as well out there.
Oh, yeah, the big rigs.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Good times.
It takes somebody with patience to work on semis, tractor trailers, because they are the most regulated vehicle on the road.
Yeah. And it all depends on the owner, too. You could have a 1980-some truck come in, spotless, and awesome to work on. Everything comes apart nice. Then you could have a 2-year-old truck that the guy just doesn't take care of it, doesn't wash it, and you just
hate your life.
Yeah.
It's like, this damn bolt, I just broke it off. It's like, well, this 3-hour job to turn into a 6-hour job.
Yeah. And I was doing a lot of cross members on the new trucks, actually. Believe that?
Really?
Yeah. It's
like under the cab or on the
a lot of the milk. We did a lot of milk trucks out there.
Like milk trailers or the tandem axle.
It was a quad axles out there.
Quad axles.
Yeah, and I think just the weight and the sloshing, it's a lot of wear and tear, and they'd crack or rust off some of them, and we did a lot of those, and I was the guy for that because I had a system down. But
what was this? So let's get into that a little bit, because obviously those got 3,000 gallon stainless steel tanks on them, or that?
Yeah,
they're pretty good size. So did you have to pull the tank?
No,
so you did it all underneath.
Yeah, luckily our shop had a pit, so
that helps out tremendously.
Oh my God, I loved my life. Like going from a shop that had no pits and you had to get on a creeper for everything to a shop that had a pit. We actually had 2 pits, one for truck and trailer, and one for just like a tractor. And a quad axle would fit underneath just the tractor one.
Nice.
So just barely, but enough where you could.
How deep was your pit? Was it like a 3.5 foot deep pit, or was it?
It was like 5 feet.
Oh, so it was pretty good.
Like the top of the walls were up to my shoulders.
Okay. Yeah.
But we had like a little step ladder under there, which I'd rather get on a step ladder than a creeper any day of the week.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and it seemed like the new trucks are breaking them. It wasn't the old milk trucks that had been on the road for miles and miles and miles. It was 100,000 mile trucks coming in with the cross members broken.
So did you weld new cross members in?
No. So
are they all bolted in now?
They're all bolted in, but the old ones, they were huck bolted, so you can't just unbolt them. You have to torch them off. So I had it down to a science anymore, like where it was, I think our book time on it was like an 8-hour day, so a full day. I could get it done in 3 hours.
Oh, you did have a system.
I had a system. Liquid. Make them liquid. Just torch.
Yep.
Just torch everything. The problem with that is I did run across a couple times. I burned a couple airlines, whatever.
That's minor.
Yeah, in 8 hours, 3 hours, I'll burn a couple airlines every day.
Yeah.
And make it just so I could get done.
So did you work at a place that had its own trucks, or were you at a truck mechanic place that people could bring their trucks to get to you guys to get fixed?
Both. So it was also a tow company.
Okay.
And they had a rotator, which was a 50-ton, I want to say. And then it was a straight stick, but that was a 50-ton wrecker as well. And then...
That's a big wrecker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I got a video on my phone. I'll have to show you.
50-ton. Oh.
One wrecker just loaded semi, just flipped it up. Done. In like 2 hours.
Wow.
It was awesome. And I didn't get to go on wrecks, obviously, because I was a mechanic. But the one time I did, I was just like, dude, this is fucking
This
cool.
is cool. I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah. And we had like 4 flatbeds, 4 service trucks for like on the road calls. We had a lot of stuff, but like obviously customer stuff came before our stuff when it come to like working on it.
That pays.
Yeah. But like all of our stuff was like spotless. Like we were super crazy about making sure everything was clean. Like in the wintertime, we'd spray oil just underneath everything just to try to keep the salt and rust off and whatever. I mean, that became a problem when you came to work on it. And then it's like,
We're actually at the place I'm at. We actually switched everything now over to fluid film. We're fluid filming everything.
I've heard of that. How is that?
It is stuff stinks like crap. When we get out of here, we'll go in the garage. I'll let you smell. I did my truck, and it was like, oh. But that film is awesome. I mean, I'm swearing by it. I really am. It's expensive. It's really expensive.
I say.
Yeah, I think a 5-gallon bucket of it's like $180.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. But the theory is like at work, if you're spraying down all them trucks, you get inside cabs and rocker panels, and you're spraying in the frames and across the thing you
cross
just
member.
There you go, the cross member. Sorry, brain fart. But when you spray inside all that stuff, I mean, this is supposed to create a film to keep the salt off, is what it's supposed to do, and it stays filmy. Like
so
forever.
even after you wash it, it stays on there, or do you have to reapply?
I mean, it's one of those where if you're going to get aggressive washing it,
okay,
you probably ought to reapply it. But if you're not going to get aggressive, and so we don't spray the outside of the trucks, we just spray underneath the trucks.
All right, I see.
So the outside of the trucks still get washed daily or weekly or whatever the circumstance might call. But as far as like the drive shaft and the oil pans and the cross members and all that stuff, so you run your power washer across it, you leave it. It's still there. It's good. That's awesome. But if you're going to sit there and drill it and work your way down, yeah, you probably need to reapply it. But
too expensive to be doing that.
Well, and that's my thought too. It's like, well, what they were doing in the past, it obviously wasn't working. So let's try this new approach here and see what happens with it. I mean, it's trial and error at this point. But you got to start somewhere to try to improve. That's kind of where we're at. But oil is just, to me, is just as long as you're doing that.
It's messy though.
Super
messy.
So is this stuff. Yeah. I mean, we bought a little air gun and everything for it, so you can hook it right to the hose and it sprays on like paint, but it just goes everywhere. We got done, like I'm feeling my beard. I'm like, my beard just got more moist, and I wonder why.
Moist for everybody.
That word don't bother me.
Doesn't bother
me. It bothers anybody else. Oh well.
Yeah.
But that I can see that the only problem that you're going to have is when you go back underneath it to fix something, whether it's a air chamber or something like that. You're going to be like, this is going to suck.
Like I worked on that truck that we sprayed the oil under, and I'm trying to think like what I did, but it was like minor. Like I was only under it for, let's say, an hour, and I come out and I'm just like covered, and everybody's like, geez, dude, like you're trashed. I was like, yeah, I'm aware. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Well, the only good thing about fluid film is it doesn't run. It literally sticks. Nice. So the only time that you're going to get into it is whatever you touch that it's on.
Okay.
You know.
It doesn't, and you said it stays like sticky.
It stays filmy.
Okay, filmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a word.
Film.
Exactly. But like I said, it actually sticks to everything. It doesn't drip or leak off. Okay. So that's the nice thing.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah.
Might have to invest in some of that for my truck. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I just bought the aerosol cans for mine.
What are those? Like,
I think they're like $10 a piece or something.
That's not bad.
No. And then, but those you can get up into the rocker panels and tailgates and door jams and all that. Because I mean, salt's just going to eat it away anyway. I might as well try to help prevent it if I can.
Right.
They're too expensive nowadays to not take care of.
I know. Trust me. I got that 2018 out there, and it's like, I'm looking at it. I've had a couple different trucks. My 03 Chevy, I will say, it stayed nice, but once it started, it was gone in a year.
My 07's that way.
And like this 18, it's like, it's starting already. It's like, what the hell? Like,
well, it's already 6 years old.
I know.
Think about that.
Hard to believe.
The other day I was coming back from Belvedere and I stopped I just swung through one of the dealerships there just for shits and giggles. And there was a half-ton Chevy crew cab 5.3, 1,500. I couldn't even tell you all the options out, and they wanted $68,000 for it. And I was like,
whoa,
these trucks are just getting ridiculous in price. Like, I better start taking better care of mine.
Yeah, I'm kidding. So let's just take that for a second. My 18, I bought it, and I think I paid, if I remember correctly, 30.
You bought it new?
Yeah, I did. And I paid 32 for it. Brand new. It's not the loaded model. I think it's the express model or whatever. It's got the nicer wheels. Whatever. I mean, I really don't care. It's a truck to me. I use it every day. It gets put to work.
That's what they're made for.
But I kind of like the nicer wheel option. That's literally the only reason I got that.
The funny thing is, it's like,
I could probably have bought the wheels and paid less, but
no. Hear me out a second, though. I mean, sometimes it's the smaller things that really make you comfortable. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got a 2019 Silverado, and when I was my old truck's an 07. I drive that one almost every day. That's my beater, Right. It's got a ton of miles on it. It's rotted out. I don't really care. So if I hit a deer with it, it's going to suck, but we're going to move on with life. You know what I mean? So that's the one I drive 90% of the time.
Right.
But when I was, and I'm like 3 years ago, I'm like, I better start looking. This truck's already 15 years old. It's starting to get rotted out. Before you know it, it's going to be unreliable.
Right.
And when that time comes, I want to make sure that I'm good on another vehicle, Right. So I started pricing trucks, but then COVID hit, and of course, the trucks went sky high, and I'm like, oh no. So my Silverado I found over in Gurney. I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that's a sharp looking truck, And then I looked at the price, I'm like, nope, I'm out. So I watched this truck for like 5 months. They just kept dropping the price and dropping the price and dropping the price. I'm like, well, yeah, because you guys were $5,000 too high to begin with,
right.
So then it finally got down to a price. I'm like, okay, it's worth that. Right. I'm going to go take a look at it. So I drove over, took a look at it. Long story short, that truck was used. Okay. It was 2 years old. It had 25,000 miles on it, and I paid the same price of what you paid yours for new.
That's just 1 year. That's insane.
Now, from what I understand, I guess the truck market is starting to come back down now.
That's good, because I'm looking for a different one.
Why yours is an 18? It's like new. It's only 6 years old.
Well, so I have 4 doors. I don't need 4 doors. The only reason I bought it is because it was cheap. Well, back then. And I want to get another single cab. I do need the 2500, unfortunately. Now this truck's paid off. So that's something I'm dealing with.
Do you really want another truck payment?
No. It's like,
I talked to the salesman. He come out. Of course, the salesman come out and he's like, "Hey, what can I do for him?" I'm literally just looking. That truck caught my eye. I just wanted to see what it was worth,
Right.
And so I started shooting shit with the salesman. Do you know what the average truck payment in 2023 is?
I'm almost scared to probably try to answer this. What are they going for? You said 63.
Well, that one was 60. I'm sure you can get the trucks, high 40s. I'm sure you could. I mean, if you've got a half ton,
we talking good credit, bad credit? What are we talking?
I'm just talking
just in general.
No. Let me rephrase that. What the average vehicle payment is in 2023?
If I were to guess, like $300-400.
$720 some a month is what the average vehicle payment was for 2023.
Okay, maybe I'm just gonna keep my.
I heard that. I'm like, that's a damn near a mortgage payment.
Yeah, 100%. Like, so in the town I live in, I was just for shits and gigs. I was looking up places for rent or whatever, and just looking around, just seeing what the market is. There is a home, not in great shape. They're renting it. So I think it's a 3-bedroom. They want almost $2,300 a month.
And rent.
In rent. If you could afford to pay $2,300 a month in rent, you might as well just buy it.
Yeah, the funny thing is though, is that thing called credit and income.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what the banks go by. And if you can't prove that, or if your credit sucks,
you're not getting nothing.
You're not getting nothing.
And I'm very fortunate I have decent, I wouldn't say the best credit in the world, but I'm in the 700s. I mean,
that's good. As far as I'm concerned, that's good.
I mean, I was young. I made mistakes.
We all did.
I thought a credit card was like the best thing ever. I don't own one now, actually. Yeah, I racked up I think it was like $10,000 in credit card debt. And I think that was even before I turned 21.
Yowza.
And I was like, oh.
And the funny thing is, $10,000 nowadays, ain't much. That ain't nothing.
Well, back then it was. Especially for a guy. I mean, granted, I was working full time. I had good income. But I was making minimum payments because I could. At least I thought. And I was like, this is, later on in life, I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I'm making the minimum payment. That's not even paying the interest off.
Right. and I had the money, and I was like, I'm done with these credit cards. Just paid it off. Clipped it with some scissors. I'm like, no more credit cards.
And see, like me, I feel that I'm good enough with a credit card. I use a credit card all the time. And the reason I do is
it builds your credit all the time, right?
It doesn't worry. It's not even about building credit now. Like for me, I've already got my credit built. It's already there. It's already established. But for me, it's if you're going to give me money to use your card.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why not?
Isn't it it's like percentage or whatever?
It's a percentage. Yeah. Some of them are cash back. Some of them are points, but I've got Discover and I use my cash back. I mean, that's just give me the 1.5% or give me the, every quarter they come out with new stuff like 5% cash back when you go to Walmart's and Costco's.
Right.
So every time you go to a Walmart and you use that card, you get 5% cash back. Well, to me, I'm paying for groceries or I'm paying for this anyway.
Right.
Why not give me so I spend $100. Why not give me that $5 back?
Right.
Appreciate it.
100%.
And then I can put that into my vacation fund or my fuel fund or my vehicle fund, whatever. It can go right into there. I ain't even got to look at it. It's just there.
That's actually that's smart. I never
But
thought about that.
You got to be disciplined enough to be able to do that.
Well, now I am. Back then I wasn't. I thought, tool truck come along. Oh yeah, I need that tool. I don't. I already have one of them or whatever, but that one's new and it's shiny.
Yeah,
put it on the card.
Put it on the card. Yeah, because probably working over there, you probably had to have all your own tools, huh?
Yeah. That's actually when I worked at the dealership. I bought a toolbox, and for kids out there that are watching this, don't buy a toolbox off the tool truck. Just don't do it. Anyway, learned that lesson the hard way. I mean, granted, I have it, and it's nice, whatever. But it's I think I paid $11,000 just for a toolbox. That's no tools, just a box. Well,
was that a Matco?
Snap-on.
Snap-on.
And granted, it was nice and it's pretty and whatever.
Well, they do make nice boxes.
They do.
I mean that's the other thing, right? Is if you know you're going to be a mechanic for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Or
you make the investment.
That box, you take care of that box is going to take care of you. You probably never have to buy another box.
Oh,
and if you do, it's going to be 20 years or 30 years down the line.
I hope I never have to buy another one.
but just think about it. So you spent $11,000 on that box.
And I have it the rest of my life. It paid, even now, it already paid for itself. Just because at the time I bought, it's not the biggest on the market, but it was a big triple bay box. I wanted a hutch, it's stainless steel, shit on it. That's what I wanted. And I love it. I mean, it's great. But $11,000. I mean,
yeah, I get it.
Like
I get it.
You could, I think, don't fact check me on this because I'm sure I'm wrong.
Fact check them.
But I heard from a buddy of mine that sells for Snap-on or whatever, has his own truck. The Icon, I think it's the Icon box at Harbor Freight, is Snap-on's old patented toolbox design that ran out or whatever was on that, and they designed a new one. So if you go to Harbor Freight, it's a $2,000 box, and technically it's a Snap-on because it's their design.
It's just the old style.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with it.
That's a good information out there. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and like I said, don't fact check me. It might not be the Icon. It might be. They have like a couple different.
Yeah, they got a
series of
couple
boxes,
different brands over there.
It's like, well, if I would have known that back then, I would have probably just bought an Icon, been done with it, and it's the same thing. And I would have paid
a lot less money,
$8-9 less. And then with that, I mean, I got some cool shit. Like they gave me like some sweatshirts, stickers, whatever. So I paid $11,000 for a couple sweatshirts and some
expensive sweatshirts.
Yeah, no kidding. That's where they get you.
What? So being that you had to buy your own tools and stuff over there, were there any specific tools that you needed to buy or own to work on semis? I mean, anything specifically?
3/4 inch impact gun. We used air. I think that's electric's great, but I think air is just in a shop setting is the best way to go. I mean, sure, it sucks. You have to, the hoses, whatever. I think it's stronger. But yeah, that was a 3/4 inch impact. I paid $2,000 for, and that was a name brand Snap-on, but totally worth it. Like,
well, you can pop those lug nuts off in a hurry with that thing.
I had to break out a 1-inch impact once to get some lug nuts off, and they didn't want to come off then. And I was like, oh shit.
Oh
like,
no.
I was like, what do we do here? Like I couldn't get 3 of them off. And I mean, unwritten rule, you don't heat up lug nuts or anything like that. If they come off, they come off. They don't. But so we had, actually, with the shop I was working at, it's called a nut breaker. And it's actually really cool. You like set the size, you put it on there, and it's run by air and a foot pedal. It'll snap the lug nut off. Like in 2 spots, snap it.
Really?
Yeah, and that way you don't mess up the threads, nothing like that. It just pops off.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was really cool. I liked using it when I had to use it, but
I'm sure at that point in time you were up to here with them, and you're like, oh, you're coming off now, baby. Whether you know it or not, you're coming off.
I might have been saying some things underneath my breath when I was doing it.
Under your breath?
No, it was pretty much out loud.
Yeah. It's a shot. What do you expect?
Well,
so it went behind the nut?
Mm-mm. So it goes over top of the nut, like on the flat surfaces.
Yeah.
Where your socket would sit. It sits on there, and it's like more or less a socket, and it just, the way it works is just squeezes it, and it pops it like
right off.
Yeah, it's awesome. Obviously, if you're using that though, like you're not happy with your life, but it's pretty cool that you have that option.
A lot of people don't have. I've never even heard of it, so that's
very expensive.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like you had to ask permission from the boss to use it. Like that's how expensive it was. And granted, it's a shop, and he understands whatever. But that being said, like you have to ask permission because it was like want to say to the tune of like $8,000.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Worth every penny, though, when you're in that situation.
Oh, it paid for itself over and over since even when I worked there, you know, and it was great. Again, I wish I had it sometimes now, like just to fuck around with, like $8,000 toy, you know. But no thanks.
Did you guys also do inspections over there?
Yeah, we did railroad inspections, like the high rail systems. We did all that. That was actually one of our biggest customers was Canadian National.
Really?
Yeah, and BNSF. Yeah, I think that's what it is, BNSF. It's another railroad company. We did some CP shit. We had a lot of railroad trucks coming in and out of there, and those trucks are not taken care of at all. Like, they are just, the drivers, they drive them.
They drive. That's what their job is to do.
So when they come in, they're like, yeah, I need it. Let's say it's a Friday, they need it Monday. It's like, okay, no big deal.
Because you work nights over there, right?
I did, yeah. So let's say they dropped it. So they drop it off Friday day, and I work on it Friday night, Saturday, only till noon. And Monday they're picking it up. So like, yeah, our schedule is kind of weird. I liked it, but it was weird. So we worked Monday through Thursday nights. So that was 2 to 11. No, 2 to 11 at night.
2 p.m. to 11 at night.
Right.
So it's more of a second shift than a night shift.
Well, we never left until like 2 in the morning.
Oh, gotcha.
Mandatory overtime, my friend.
Mandatory overtime.
And so...
how about hire another guy? Then we don't have to worry about mandatory overtime.
Best part, 3 of us. That's all there was on night shift. Day shift had 20 guys. Night shift had 3.
I can see why you liked it then.
That's including myself. So 2 other guys, not including me.
Oh, that's probably pretty slick then.
Oh, we got along great because we never talked to each other. I mean, we did, you know, at like supper time or whatever, but like we really just did our own thing, whatever, you know.
You look at your board and go, well, I got to do that truck, and they're looking at their board going, well, I got to do this truck, and this truck. And
exactly.
You go do your thing, I'll go do mine.
Second day shift leaves, we pull, like if their stuff was movable, pull it out, bring our stuff in, just nail it and just get done. Like sometimes we'd get done early in mandatory overtime though. So we'd grab a truck for the next day if it was there, bring it in, start it. As long as we could get it out and bring the day shift stuff back in. You know, we were ahead of ourselves then. And sometimes...
in theory.
Yeah. You know,
in theory.
Until something goes wrong.
Until that damn lug nut don't come off.
Right. Something like that. You know, and like we had... that was a long night. We worked till the following morning when day shift came in. So we had to have this truck done. Done. And nothing was going right. It needed all brakes. It needed wheel seals. It needed, if I remember right, the carrier bearing was out. And it just, a lot of stuff it needed. We needed to have it done that night. So 2 of us were on that job. The other guy, he was doing, you know, whatever he had to do. But that's what the plan was for 2 of us to work on it, knock it out, get it out the door.
Move on.
Yeah. Well, around 11 o'clock, we didn't have brakes on the thing yet. And we started at 2. Just because nothing would come
fighting you the whole way.
Wheels were seized on the hubs. So now we're taking bottle jacks and chains and hooking them up to the rims.
Trying to pop them off.
Putting it on the hub and just fucking, you know, that was a rough night. Anyway, finally, at about 2 in the morning, wheels are off of it. And that's how long that took. 12 hours to get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 wheels off. And I looked at our night shift supervisor. It was like, this has to be done. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'll start the drive shaft work. You guys just do your thing. Okay. You know. And
so all 3 of you started then.
Oh, yeah. And it was our boss, the owner of the company came in the next morning and we were still there. He's like, why the fuck are you guys still here? Like, he was actually mad at us. We're like, well, this needs to be out today, and we're just finishing it up. And he's like, that's how many problems you had with it? We're like, yeah. He's like, I'll call the customer and and say, it's not leaving today. We're like, well, that's why we stayed all night. Like, it's ready to go now. Like, like we wish we'd have known that, but it worked out. I mean, customer was happy. Everybody was happy at that. And our boss gave us that whole next day off.
Nice.
He was like, yeah, you guys should just stay home. Like we got you covered. Like, day shift doesn't have too much going on. We'll do your night shift stuff.
Thanks, boss.
Awesome.
I'm going to go sleep for 12 hours because this truck just kicked my ass.
Well, the best part was there was a bar in town. It was more or less like 24 hours. Like, they served breakfast and stuff. And all three of us went to the bar. But we didn't eat breakfast. Stay there till about noon.
8 a.m. Give me a beer.
Mm-hmm. 100% what that was.
I don't blame you.
And
I hate when jobs do that. You think it's going to be a quick in and out job, and something bad happens, and there you are half a day into it or longer, and you're like, what the heck did I ever do to you?
And then the boss is coming up to you like,
what's taking so long?
Like, dude, like, do you need help? I needed help 2 days ago, but I'm good now. Like, it's almost done.
You guys have a therapist on hand? Yes.
Beer.
Tell me you keep cold beer in that fridge, because that's what's going to help me.
Yeah, but that was a night to remember for sure. And then on top of that, since we towed, our night shift supervisor was in and out doing some tows and stuff. So he had like part of the truck tore apart. And then we're like, where the hell are you? Like, you're gone. You have shit laying here. And it's like, okay, like, where did you start? Where do I need to?
Where did you stop so we know where to start again?
Yeah. And it was insane. It was fun. I mean, we had a good thing. We all liked each other, which that's hard to come by sometimes.
It's hard to come by.
And we all genuinely gave a shit about each other. Like, if someone was out sick, like, we'd shoot them a text, like,
hey, you good, bro?
Yeah, like, if you need anything, like, let us know. Because all of us lived, like, within five minutes of the shop. So, like, we could all just, like, one of the guys was sick, and he's like, he's like, on supper break, I hate to ask this. You mind grabbing me, like, a couple Gatorades? I'm like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. So I'm like, I'm just going to go to Casey's and get a slice of pizza for supper anyway. So, yeah, whatever. Stop by his house, drop off some Gatorades for him. He was a single dude, Parents, I think, passed away or whatever. And so he was just on his own. And I was like, yeah, I got you. No worries. And he's like, I'll pay you for it. I'm like, $5, whatever. Like, buy me a slice of pizza one night, something, whatever.
Yeah, just catch me next time.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Next time we go to the bar, buy me a beer. We're even.
Exactly.
Whatever. Like, that's also what was cool about our shift is, like, on a Saturday after work, it would just be us three. I mean, we invited other guys, never took us up on our offer. We'd go to the bar at noon, eat lunch, have a couple beers, and just sit there and talk to each other. Again, that's something that doesn't happen anymore. And it made our shift that much closer. And we banged out a lot of work. I mean, we did. Like, our shift for 3 guys was banging out almost sometimes more than the day shift guys that had 20 guys. I mean, like, money-wise, not...
Yeah, not equipment-wise, but dollars.
Yeah, because we were just banging out work. And I think it had something to do with maybe us having that close relationship. Like, I mean, it all could have been just luck, whatever. I don't know, but...
Well, I don't think you're completely wrong, right? Because if you guys are all that close as individuals, it's nothing to say, hey, Ryan, come over here and give me a hand for 5 minutes because I need you to do this. Where the next guy might say, piss on you, I'm trying to get my shit done. And of course you're going to say, all right, I'm at a, this nut's not coming off. It's pissing me off. So you walk over there, you help him, you come back.
100%.
Then the nut comes off.
And that happened a lot. Actually.
Or the bolt comes out, or this flies into place the way it should,
And honestly, with 3 guys, it happened a lot. Like, hey, I need a hand,
Well, when you get into the semis, I mean, there's some big freaking parts there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to hold it in one hand and try to start a bolt with the other or whatever. And all of a sudden that third hand is just like, oh, it's just going to go so much faster if I have a third hand. Ryan, bring that third hand over here. I need help.
100%.
I only need you for 2 minutes though.
And I would drop what I'm doing and walk over, help you out, and get back to what I'm doing. I mean, I might need you 5 minutes later, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's teamwork. It goes both ways.
Yeah. In best invention ever, not maybe invention ever, but the disc brakes on the semis, awesome.
Yeah.
Until you had to work on them. Then not so much.
Why?
So let's just say a wheel seal, just for instance, because those go out in trucks a lot. Drum brakes, you don't have to take off the wheels individually. You could take your axle shaft out, and the whole hub assembly will come out with the tires on it.
Yep.
And then, you pull your wheel seal, clean up everything, whatever, put it back on, depending on how bad the seal leaked. If it leaked on your brake shoes, I mean, you're going to have to put everything back together, take off the wheels, replace brake shoes, drum, whatever. But, let's say you're doing a wheel seal on on disc brakes.
It's all got to come off anyway.
Everything's got to come off. And it takes you, let's just say for a number, like an hour, just to get everything disassembled to get to the part that you need to get it off. And then, you have another hour putting everything back together, hour and a half, maybe 2, depending on how bad everything is. And you have to clean up everything, whatever, rust, whatever, make sure everything seals. And with drum brakes, I could get a wheel seal done 2 hours. And disc brakes, 4-hour job.
4-hour job.
All day. No matter how fast, no matter if it's fighting you. It's a minimum 4 hours.
Gotcha. I guess that kind of makes sense.
But it's less maintenance in theory. So drum brakes, more maintenance. Disc brakes, less maintenance. So, I mean, there's your up if you have them. But, and all that stuff's not light. So.
Yeah, because what's one of them drums weigh? They probably got to weigh 90 pounds, don't they?
I was going to say 75 to 80 probably would be my guess. I don't know. Never really weighed one, but if I were to guess, probably about that. Brake shoes themselves, I mean, are like 20.
Yeah.
It's
like I said, they're not light parts on these things.
No. Like I did brakes on my truck, and I was like, wow, like this is nice.
This is easy.
Like,
you automotive mechanics got it simple.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, they don't either.
No. When it comes to brakes and stuff, they do. I will give them that.
Yeah, I mean, I know quite a few mechanics that, the second that they start doing brakes, if they realize those calipers are shot,
just order new
ones. Or just put new calipers on. They're cheap enough nowadays. $50 a piece probably now. Yeah. So just throw them on. Your headache is gone at that point.
Yeah.
You got brand new stuff that you're working with. That makes it a lot nicer.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, I remember, so my uncle owns a shop, automotive shop. And he's been in business for 40 years. So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Started at, I think when he was 18. He was doing lawnmower repair. And then I don't know how he graduated up to cars, but he did. And whatever. I mean, more power to him. And he had a very successful business. Still doing it. He's partially retired now, actually. He's always been a one-man shop, just him. And he's partially retired, only does it a couple days a week. But he's happy with that. He still likes working on stuff, but now he can pick. Like, no, bring that down the street. Like, I'm not going to work on that. He's set up to where he can make those decisions. And then now that I moved back, he actually had a conversation with me. He's like, well, you're mechanically inclined. I know you used to work on semis and tractors and equipment. He's like, but it wouldn't be much for you to come into the automotive world and kind of take my business over if you wanted me to go full time.
Hey, that's something to think about.
It is. It's one of those things, though.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. My younger brother owns his own shop.
Yeah.
G-Dub's Garage, Harvard, Illinois. Look him up. And
badass guy, by the way, too.
And
very good at his work.
He is, and that's the thing. If you're gonna start your own shop, man, you got to be brutally honest with people.
Yes, 100%.
Whether you can do that or you can't, that's one thing you have to do. Because if all of a sudden somebody says, "Hey, yeah, I got this rattle in my car. I'm gonna bring it up there. I want you to take a look at it." Okay, so bring it up, drop it off, whatever. You bring it inside, and all of a sudden you're like, "Man, this car is worth $1,500 on a good day."
And I'm gonna put
and I'm going to put $1,500 or $2,000 worth of work into it.
Is it really worth it?
So what do you do? So you call that customer up and say, well, I found a problem, but the problem is I found 14 other problems. Right. And for safety reasons, these are the problems that have to be fixed.
At minimum, you're saying, like, for safety.
Yeah, for safety. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix that rattle that you talked to me about. Right. But there's 10 other problems here that are safety reasons that it cannot leave my shop unless they are fixed. Right. And that's going to cost you $2,000 in a car that's worth $1,500. Right. So what do? Do you take the $2,000 you're going to spend on the car and the car that's worth $1,500, or do you junk the car, take the $2,000 and go put a down payment on something used?
Right, 100%.
That's the tough stuff that you have to have that conversation.
My biggest problem when my uncle's throughout all of his years of business has ran into this problem. You know, let's say you quote a job for $1,000 just for a number, and the customer says, "Okay, go ahead and do it." Well, you're done with the job. Customer comes, pays for it. Hey, I got 600 this week, and I could give you 400 next week. Well, now most of these customers, my uncle's been working on their stuff for a very long time.
Yeah, so they've got that relationship too.
Right, but you know, a new guy comes in, you never worked on their stuff ever, and says that to you. What are you going to do? You know, at that point in time, not to be a dick, but I'd be like, well, give me your $600, and next week when you have money, I'll give you your car back. Hate to do that.
In today's world, that's kind of something you have to do.
I wish it wasn't that way.
I wish it wasn't that way either, but
like that's where I would feel bad, because what if he needs this vehicle to go to work, and now you're withholding it from him to get the money to pay you, and he's maybe, you don't know his personal stuff.
Not at all.
He might be struggling with whatever health issues or whatever. But like, that's where I would have a hard time.
I recall a saying in my head, right? And it goes like this: if you screw me once, shame on you. Mm-hmm. If you screw me twice, shame on me.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm more of the, okay, but you will be here next Wednesday
at this time or whatever
to pay me the rest. Because if you don't, then we're gonna have a problem.
Right.
So if he screws me, okay, he screws me. I know for next time. And then I'm gonna get on the phone. I'm gonna send a text out to all the other shops in the area saying, hey, if Joe Blow comes in here, 100%. Watch it.
Yeah.
You know, but I won't let that happen twice.
Right. And again, you know, I understand. Actually, I fell on a little bit of a hard time financially. Like, I was always pretty good with money, but like, I fell on a hard time when COVID hit. You know, work got real slow. They're like,
yeah, no trucks on the road at that point.
Yeah, and they were like, we're gonna have to lay you off for like three weeks, maybe a month, maybe a little bit longer. I was like, what? Like, granted, I had a nest egg, whatever, but like, you know, now you're using your nest egg if something goes wrong. And that's what it's for, is for this situation. But now you got to watch what you're doing instead of like, okay, I'm going to go out to eat tonight. Like, no, you have food at home, dude. Like, eat your food at home. And it's simple as that sometimes. But, you know, and I mean, I think that he only had me laid off 3 weeks. And I'm not paycheck to paycheck. Luckily, like, again, I have a little nest egg. But imagine if I was paycheck to paycheck. Like, how, like, you know, then you fall behind on bills. Then it's really hard to dig yourself out of that hole once you're behind. That's something my dad always taught me. He's like, never get behind on anything, because the second you get behind, it's really hard to get back caught up.
Yeah, it's funny. You can, once you get ahead, you're like, yay, I'm ahead. At least this is how it works for me. I'd be like, yay, I'm getting ahead. And all of a sudden, like, oh, my water heater just took a shit. Yeah. Well, there's $800. Or the transmission just blew in my truck. Well, there's a couple grand. You know, it's like, 100%. God, I'm just getting you built up to where I like you, to where I'm comfortable. And then bad shit happens, and then I got to suck it out of there and put her into that. You know, it's nothing bad that goes wrong. It's like, oh, it cost me $50. Woo. You know, it's like, oh, this cost me $500 or $5,000. It's like, come on.
Oh, 100%. And that's how life is. I mean, I have, for my age, and I've lived on my own since I was 17. I'm now 28.
God, you're old.
I know, I'm getting old, man. But in that 11 years, you know, I've learned a lot of life lessons the hard way. But for me, that's good. Because if I didn't learn them the hard way, I would have probably never learned them. You could preach to me all you want. You could ask my father. He gets so pissed off at me all the time. He'll warn me. Be like, don't buy that. That's stupid.
You're going down the wrong path, kid. Yeah. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then month, 2, 3, whatever, 6 months later, haha, I'm right. You know, like, thanks, Dad. You know, appreciate
well,
that.
And that's the funny thing. Like, once you start growing up, right? Like, I didn't really start growing up till I was probably 28. Really, it's probably when I started growing up, actually.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're like, God, man, I made some stupid decisions in the past. Like,
100%.
I wouldn't make them today, but I think back on it and go, man, they were good decisions at the time. At least I thought they were. And then I look back and go, God, you're an idiot, Kyle. You know better than that.
Oh, I get it, because I feel like even when I moved out on my own, you know, I wasn't grown up yet. I was just living, you know, like living on my own, doing my own thing, and making stupid, like you said, stupid decisions. Like now I'd be like, I look back on it, I'm like, that was so dumb. Why'd you do that? You know, like,
so dumb.
But I guess that, you know, and that's what they say. How the hell does that go? How, or like those decisions made you who you are today.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
thing. And even though they were dumb back then, I'm proud of them now, just because I'm like, pretty much what I am is what I am. I don't hide shit from anybody. If you don't like me, I don't care. You know, like
I'm the same way.
Like if you do, awesome. You know, we could be friends because I'm a friendly guy and I'll get along with you, you know, but like when I've gotten interactions where people are like, I really don't like you. I'm like, I really don't give a fuck. You join the club. Like, there's a list, man. Like,
you're not even close to the top. So
like, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm getting to that point in my life too. You know, there was a long period of time in my life where I was trying to make everybody else happy.
I've definitely done that.
You know, and it was, and don't get me wrong, I was kind of happy doing it. Yeah. The word is kind of.
Yeah. Keyword there.
But now I'm to the point where it's like, man, it's time for me to be happy now. Like, it's time for me to push my goals and my dreams forward and what I want to accomplish and what I want to do versus what everybody else thinks I should do or what everybody else knows what I should do. Or I'm past that point now. Right. I'm done with it. You know?
And that's how it should be, though. Like, that's what I mean. Like,
but the pressures in life don't allow that all the time either.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, I try to grow up, and when I was growing up, I tried to make sure that I was a good son and make sure I was a good brother, make sure I was a good friend, make sure I was a good nephew, make sure I was a good cousin,
right? You
know, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and then on top of that, you're trying to be a good employee for your employer. And in our business, you're trying to be a good person for customer service. You know, yeah. So you got all these pressures. Yeah, you got all these pressures just pushing down on you about, oh, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just like, you are all gone.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to concentrate on my job. I'm going to concentrate on working myself to be a better person. I'm going to concentrate on trying to be a happy man.
Now let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You're the host, but I'm going to ask this.
Oh, this is new. Hey.
Are you happier?
Days I am.
Days you are. Okay.
Days, you know, you kind of fall back into that old routine.
Yeah.
You know,
trying to please everybody.
Yeah. And then that lasts for a very short period of time. You're like, this is stupid. I'm angry or I'm pissed off or whatever. And you're like, no, I'm not doing that.
Right. No, I get it.
Overall, yes.
I was going to say, the second I realized I don't give a fuck what people think of me, sometimes that hurts too. You know, some people you look up to that you thought like maybe were there for you or whatever.
Yep.
And you hear and then you see them like talking shit about you. It's like, wow, I actually like really liked you. I actually thought you were like a good dude. You're not. That sucks. I mean, I've been through that. But in a way, it's like, whatever. You know,
people are going to talk, man.
Oh, I know.
It's just the way it is. And you know what? Let them. That's my opinion. I'm to the point now where if you hear a rumor about me, guess what? If it didn't come out of this mouth, it's just a rumor.
Actually, I love it when people are like, so I heard this about you. Is this true? No. Like, who told you that? And it's like, this person. Oh, well, you could go back and
I don't even ask. Oh yeah, who told you that? I don't even care because I just don't. Like, hey, I heard a rumor about you. Ooh, I like rumors.
What did I do?
What's new this time?
100%.
Whether it's true or not. If it's true, I'll be like, yep, that's 100% true. If it's not, I'll be like, well, there's some truth to that, because the story got bumped along the way or whatever.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah, I'm just to the point now in my life. I'm like, I'm just going to be happy.
100%. As you should.
Whatever that means.
Life's way too short.
Oh my God. I'm already 35, going on 36. It's like, Jesus, where did the last, 2 years from now, my 20-year high school reunion is going to happen in 2 years. It's like, where in the hell did 20 years go, or 18 now?
My 10-year was last year. And I was like, wait, I've been out of school for 10 years. Like, what? Like, where did that time go?
Don't worry, it gets faster, kid.
I know. That's what everybody says. And I'm like, I believe it because I don't know where 10 years went.
Well, it's just hard to believe today's Friday already.
I know.
It's like, holy crap. I remember going to work on Monday. It's like, and it's like, wow, it's already been 5 days. Hey, cool. Well, weekend's here.
That's like with us, like almost 8 years I haven't seen you like, obviously we stayed in contact, but almost 8 years I didn't see you in person. Here we are today, which is awesome. Yeah. But like, it's like, where did those 8 years go? You know what I mean? It feels like we picked up like we haven't missed a beat, which is awesome. And I'm happy to be here, by the way. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
Of course, man.
I tell everybody I like to have all different walks of life on here. I like to have every different type of character that I can have here because I learn something new all the time, sitting in this seat. And then we get to reminisce with old friends and stuff like that. It's just too much fun. It just really is.
Like when you started this whole podcast thing and I was like, let's see what this is about. And I watched your first episode. I was like, that was really cool. And like now I watch them all the time. It's an honor to be on your podcast.
Of course.
And by the way, Max, I heard that story. That was a good story from the dealership.
Yep.
I remember you're like, you better get out here. Here I am.
God, that's been quite a while ago since we had that conversation.
Yeah, that was like one of your. I think it was like, don't quote me, but I want to say it was like under 10 episodes you had. I think maybe.
Probably.
Now you're up to like 50 something, aren't you?
I think you're 49.
Oh, I was close.
49 or 50. I can look, but it's one of the two.
Don't matter, but
yeah, I've been doing it a whole year.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe that,
dude. It's crazy. Like I'm a big podcast guy, and like I listen to Joe Rogan here and there, and I select episodes. Like not all the shit I want to listen to. Let's just be honest.
Everybody's that way. Yeah. I mean, I see that even in these episodes.
Right.
Some people will be like, "Hey, I know that guy, and I know what he does. I need to listen to this." And the next one, they're like, "Nah, it doesn't really intrigue me."
100%.
This one's about this. I don't care about that. That, this one's pretty. This one sounds cool. Let's listen to it.
But Joe Rogan said he's had some like cool people on his podcast, and like
he has.
And it's like, those are the episodes I watch. And it's not necessarily people I know from like the celebrity whatever. I'm more into like he had Jocko Willink on there, who's a Navy SEAL. He was senior chief like for like Chris Kyle. So like that was super cool.
That would have been a cool one.
And super cool to listen to about like they talked about a lot of stuff, like short little military blips here and there with like talking about Chris Kyle and shit. But like those conversations, just even the conversations were super cool. Cause like Jocko's like, everybody hates like hard times. I love them. He's like, it makes me stronger. He's like, I'd rather go through a hard time every day of my life just because I'm going to be a badass when I'm done with it. Like, that's actually kind of somewhat motivational, too.
It's motivational. I don't want to go through a hard time every day, though.
I wouldn't say every day.
There's days I want to be like, okay, world. That's enough. That's enough now.
Yeah. Let's just get through the day and go home and relax,
Yeah, there's an old saying out there that says something like, hard times make soft men make soft times make hard men make soft times, something like that.
No, I know, yes.
100%. So the way he says that, it's like, okay, I can get on board with what he means by that.
Right.
But do you really want to have a hard time every day? I mean, everybody's built different, right? 100%. I mean, that's the cool thing about human beings and animals and just in general is that we're all built just a little bit different.
Oh yeah, some people can handle that though. Like in that case, that would be that'd be Jocko. He could handle that.
He lives up and he breathes that. He's like, 100%. Yeah, you bring this hard time on today because I'm just gonna beat it into submission. Exactly. You know what I mean? And he's good by it.
He loves the challenge.
And
who doesn't, right?
Exactly.
I like the challenge.
I like a challenge as well.
But actually that's why sometimes even working on semis, sometimes it gets very repetitive. I could do breaks all week long. I'm going to hate my job by Friday. I need, and understand.
Cross members.
Cross members. That's how cross members happen. You're like, oh, you're sick of doing this? I'll do this.
Like a challenge. Try this one on for size.
This job sucks. Okay, let's do it.
Let's try it. See what happens.
I liked it, though. And it was because every single cross member, they're not the same. There's different shit running in and out. You got to be careful to a point. You could fuck up stuff quick, especially because there's wiring that runs through there.
Wiring and airlines and everything else that goes along with it too.
I loved it though because it was a challenge every single time I did one. I did probably 10 of them in 2 months. And after a while, that does get old.
It's the same thing as everything else.
But it's and like I said, I'm just knocking them out. But I like the challenge. And that's why sometimes I have problems in my workplace is because I'm not getting challenged. I'm getting bored. I don't want to be there then. I want the challenge. I mean, I understand there's going to be boring days. That comes with everything.
That comes with every job.
But that's why I have issues sometimes. It's I'm so fucking bored. Give me something. I haven't done this. Let me do it. No, that's this person's job. Well, let me do it. I want to see if I could do it.
Pick me.
Yeah, 100%. Again, it's in a way I embrace the suck because sometimes I like shit that sucks. It challenges me. Do I get frustrated at times? 100%.
We all do.
But it's without that, I feel like I'm not learning anymore. And I like learning. I might never have went to college. Look, that's another thing. I was working with guys, all of them went to diesel school. I never went to diesel school. So I had a chip on my shoulder. I had to prove to them I know my shit. And luckily, I'm able to do that. But, and that's, college wasn't for me, dude. I couldn't.
Schooling, the way they teach in school just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I'm a hands-on person. I want something where if you catch my interest, okay, I'm interested.
100%.
But I'm probably not going to read a whole autobiography because you're an interesting person. 100%. No. Show me why you're an interesting person. 100%. The Missouri, the show me state, that's what I'm all about, man.
Yep.
Show me or let me learn it with my hands. Let me learn it with my head. But reading is just one of those things that I just was never very good at it. Mm-hmm. And I just don't grasp on by reading it.
I'm the same way. I actually I'm not scared to say it. I was in special education most of my school life.
For English, you're talking for reading and stuff.
Reading comprehension. I graduated high school with a 6th grade reading level of comprehension. I mean, I could read obviously, but it just wasn't me. I can't spell. Oh boy, that's rough.
Thank God for spell check.
100%. When I'm writing out work orders and stuff, so that's all computer based now. It's not by paper or whatever. And typing it out, and I will close it out, and thank God for the secretary or whoever's looking at that, because I'm sure they're correcting a lot of stuff.
You rock.
And, but going back to the schooling, for diesel school, it was hard to get hired just because I didn't have a certificate saying you can do it. They took a chance on me. I got paid a lot less than the kids that graduated diesel school. I worked there, I think it was 6 months, and they're like, yeah, you're getting a pay raise, a big one. You've proven yourself time and time. Here you go. Which was awesome, and I appreciate it. And then it's the kids from diesel school are coming up to me, and they're like, how'd you learn how to do that? I'm like, I don't know, just did it. Like,
don't ask me how to do it again and memorize it because I don't, because I'm just going to wing it when I get there next time.
100%. That's what I do. I'm just good at it. I mean, but again, with stuff I didn't know how to do, I wasn't scared to go up to a senior tech and be like, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is where my impasse is. Like, what do you suggest? And they would gladly come over, show me.
It's good to have that mentor.
Yeah. And every single one of the senior techs that was there, you know, like Saturdays, we work day shift. So like all those guys were there and I could ask some of these questions and they were so happy to explain it. And I would listen. I think that was the biggest thing. Sorry.
They're all over. Don't know where they come from.
But like they enjoyed the fact that I would listen and I would they would tell me what to do and I'd do it. Now you get a guy from diesel school that's a little cocky. I'm not going to lie. Most of them were young kids. I mean, I'm young, but you know what I mean?
You're still a kid too.
Yeah. I got a lot of miles though.
Rode hard, put away wet.
100%. You know, still living at home with mom and dad, which nothing wrong with that.
Hey, what you're telling me is you're a teachable young man.
Yeah.
And that is what matters. This podcast episode is sponsored by Dan's Diesel Performance. If you're looking to improve your truck's performance, efficiency, or appearance, check out Dan's Diesel Performance. They manufacture turbochargers, fuel injectors, fuel pumps, transmissions, intake piping, and much, much more. Plus, they offer all the top brands in the diesel industry. They're located in Machesney Park, Illinois. Visit their website at dansdieselperformance.com or give them a call at 815-977-5865.
And that's like when Green Star came out and shit and we got whatever. That was a learning curve, you know, even for me. Like, it's not hard, but it's for my dad that's never had anything like that ever to learn it and like it. That was the biggest thing, was liking it. And then after a while, you know, our yields went up, whatever. Oh, this is fucking sweet. You know, like
this is the reason why we got this.
Yeah. Like,
because it tells you every skip. It tells you every miss. It tells you every double. It tells you when bros aren't planting. It tells you everything that you need to know. Stuff
like he didn't grab. Like it makes a difference.
Yeah, technology makes a difference, especially in farming.
100%.
It really does. If you're not starting to keep up with technology right now, you are definitely falling behind.
100%.
And that's falling behind on yields. That's falling behind on equipment. That's falling behind on inputs. That's falling behind on everything. Yeah. So if you're a farmer and you're not using technology, man, you need to get on board quickly because it's all heading that way. And it's going to make you a better manager too. And if it makes you a better manager, what's going to happen? Your yields are going to go up.
Right.
Theoretically. So
right.
That's all there, but I totally get it. Ryan, we've been talking for quite a while now, so
time flew.
It sure does. Thank you, man, for taking time out of your day to drive all the way up here and hang out and drink a couple of beverages and
100%.
Catch up, shoot the shit.
It was fun. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. We'll see you soon.
Oh, I guarantee it.
All right.